missing.
Oh, no.
And so Zach looks at it and goes, "My pizza!" Hello and welcome back to the Timeout podcast. This is episode 2 now, and we still don't have Alex and Zach, but that's fine.
Episode 3.
Oh, sorry, guys.
God damn it, Mooch.
God.
Fucking
Anyways,
phone.
my name is Andy, and today I'm joined by the lovely AJ,
Hi.
and the loser Brandon,
Yeah.
and
Right, I'm back. It was just a random.
Jacob.
What's up?
And we are running out of topics.
So we're gonna pull shit out of a hat today.
We have absolutely nothing to talk about because
Literal
no one's here.
Dog shit.
We have yet to record the first episode.
So what we're gonna do is we've got a random topic generator, and we're gonna pull a random topic for each one of us, and we're gonna see if they can talk about that topic for like a whole 2 minutes.
Oh, it's like individual?
Without like
shit.
stops, and just like, can you like keep the topic going for 2
Yes, that'd be
minutes?
interesting.
I think that'd be interesting.
We're
Where
gonna pull topics out of
somewhere down the rabbit hole that some of these topics might lead. So
Wait, is it just one of us talking about it, or are we all
yeah,
talking
just
about
one. Well, I think it'd be funnier if just one of us, one at a time.
it? All right, great. So I guess AJ,
AJ,
you're first.
AJ, you want to go first? All right, Andy.
AJ, I want you to talk about fairies.
All right. Well, for starters, let's see, fairies. Actually, last night I watched part of one of the Peter Pan movies last night. That had Tinkerbell in it. She's a fairy.
AJ, do you remember when I spammed you with a bunch of the messages about the pixies?
I was gonna talk about that first, but I didn't want to get angry. God fucking damn it. Every fucking day, he'd act like he was like high off of some fucking like psychedelic. He'd be like, AJ, it's the fairies. The fairies are here. Like fucking Crocker from Fairly Odd Parents. Like fucking spaz that. I'm like, shut the fuck up, dude. Fairies are kind of dumb. Although I would like to have a fairy godmother, like that bitch in Cinderella, like turn my car into a pumpkin. That'd be really cool.
I feel like it's been a minute.
It hasn't even been one.
Are you recording this?
Oh, I'm looking at the clock.
Well, what's the clock say?
We started at 8:53. It just ticked out 8:54.
What does the clock say?
Okay. For all we know, it didn't even start at 8:53. It could have been like 8:53:59, and it just ticked over, and I've only been talking for a second.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
On the topic of the pixies, not the fairies, but it was pixies, it was kind of like I was like tripping on Sykes, and in all capital letters, I'm attempting to find the messages right now.
I literally said psychedelics, Andy.
But
Under for a really bad joke. This isn't worth
in all capital letters, it was just the pixies are here. I think they're trying to kill me, etc., etc. Anyways, Brandon, I would like you to talk about snow.
Snow? Oh, well, first thing that came to my mind was, is there some kind of like Game of Thrones reference with that? I feel like there's some kind of snow shit in there. Is there anyone named Throne or Snow in Game of Thrones? I don't know why they fucking came to my head. I don't even watch the damn show, but you know what?
Snow.
Jon Snow?
All the bastards of the North, like if you're a bastard, your last
Okay, well,
name
fuck
is-
him. I don't like Game of Thrones. Actually, I shouldn't say I don't like it, but I haven't watched it yet. So I'm going to go back to fucking winter. Fuck winter. This time around in fucking Iowa in school, I was freezing my fucking balls off. Like, it was so fucking cold, some kid died at U of Iowa. Like, what the fuck? But at least they canceled classes for like 4 days. And you know what? Actually, what I really want to do is go snowboarding. I went skiing last year, and the best I ever went down was like this mediocre hill, and ate shit a couple times. But I could go down the hill pretty good. I just the slowing down part's kind of difficult for me. So that's kind of meh. I want to get into snowboarding because I feel like that shit's pretty dope.
Well, see, for skiing, I went. Me and Andy went skiing one time, and so. Like, I got down the slowing down part pretty easy. Like, you just point your toes together.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like,
slowly.
my feet sometimes naturally, like, point, like, outwards, like, kind of like a duck or some shit. So they say pizza to slow down, right? So that's a little bit harder for me. I don't know if my just ankles aren't that flexible or what.
Well,
but
see,
it's a pain in the ass.
Like, if you ever want to, stop, like, if you're about to hit a tree, you just turn, like, sideways and lay down on your butt.
Yeah, okay, well, that's like kind of falling. I don't want to fucking do that.
See, I didn't understand that.
But basically, I mean, I learned how to longboard first, like, fall semester. So I feel like that might help me in like the snowboard area. And also like you got skiing and you got snowboarding. Which
What about
one looks
surfing?
doper? Snowboarding. Hell
You
yeah.
get the four
Apparently because
elements.
it's
You
harder
got
too.
water, snow, skateboarding, and I guess flying.
What?
You
Well,
can't
from everyone
fly.
I've heard that like does that kind of stuff, skiing is easier to like start right off the bat doing, but it's hard to get like really good at.
Uh-huh.
Versus snowboarding is the exact opposite. It's like a lot harder to learn at first, but once you like get it down, you can do like a lot more like cool stuff with it versus skiing.
Dude, let's do a trip. Let's do a skiing or snowboarding trip in the winter for
Dude, I'd
winter
love to,
break.
but it's like $70 to go skiing, bro.
Let's find some like Groupon shit. I don't know. I'd be down.
Dude, it's in the backyard. Someone's gonna have a big.
We got money, right? We've been working.
Andy, how big is a hill in your backyard?
About 2 feet.
Dude, if
Okay.
anyone's got a hill, it'd
No,
be
I'm
my
kidding.
place.
I feel like where Jake was going with that was when I went skiing with him. I couldn't figure out how to stop, so instead of like slowing down or even doing the sideways thing, I would just trip myself.
Nice.
So I would just tumble on the ground.
I've heard about
And
this.
so when we were all going skiing, we'd have to go down like this miniature hill and like cut off into this little like plateau and stop there, and we'd like stop there for everyone to get there, and then we'd all go down the hill together. So Andy would always go down last because he never knew what he was doing, not exactly where we were going, so he'd just follow us, and so we'd all be down there, and we're all watching Andy just come down at fucking lightning speed because
Straight.
Andy didn't get like the carving to slow down.
Yeah.
And so there's this snowbank at the end of this plateau, and it was like hard ice, and we just watched Andy like 4 times come down the hill and just slam into that fucking snowbank, and we'd all lose it every time. And he'd like one time he hit a rock or something, and he just slams into it, and then he just lays there for like a minute. He's like, I don't want to go down anymore. But we're already up the mountain, so it's like Andy, you gotta go down. Like, you can either walk down, which will take like an hour, or you can ski down, which will
Just
take like 2
Fucking
minutes.
send it.
Well, if it was me, it took 2 seconds. Great. Jacob, I would like you to talk about farm.
Farms. All right, so my family actually used to own like a ton of land around here, and like we actually used to be pretty big farmers, and so like I never really was big into the farming stuff because my grandpa was the last like generation to live on the farm, and like his dad sold it. But when my grandpa passed away a couple years ago, we were going through his house, and there was tons of old farming equipment. I mean, fucking tons. Like all these like antique like plows and like seed like planter things that should hook up behind like a fucking cow or something, and we're just like all flustered because we're having to deal with all this like shit, and there's a ton of stuff in his house, and we were all like, when we got to that, my dad was like, "You're fucking kidding me."
Did you
He's
just
like,
sell it all, or what'd you do with it?
well, we sold what we could, and then we just threw away a bunch of garbage. It was like a bunch of random. I don't know what it was about old people, but I guess everyone in like the 80s thought Beanie Babies were like gonna be the next big fucking thing. Oh my god, we threw away tons of Beanie Babies.
The tags on them?
What?
They're the tags on them?
They were in the bags.
What the fuck?
Anyway,
Well,
back to the
you-
farming. So when we got like, we were already like just so done with doing all this bullshit. And then my dad sees all this big old farm equipment like tucked away like in the attic of the garage, and we're like, how did he even get this up here? Because like this is some heavy shit. And it was hilarious. Like I was laughing my ass off when my dad was so like confused and like, what the fuck, Dad? Because he lived in that house his entire life, like when he grew up.
Your dad?
And my dad did.
Okay.
And he's like, I've never seen any of this stuff. And it's just like so old and rusted and stuff that most of it we just had to like throw away because like couldn't really keep. So yeah, that's my bit on farms.
Andy, what do you
All
got
right.
for yourself?
Pick a number 1 through 5 for me to talk about.
5.
All right, I'm talking about. No, we're not gonna tie. That's a little politically.
3.
All right, no, we're going back to number 5. All right, I'm gonna talk about magic. It was originally police, and yeah, I didn't really want to get into that.
Fuck the police.
All right, magic. What is magical, anyways? I feel like people's interpretation of magic has really changed over the last years, because you would read about in like fairy tales and stuff, like, oh, these magical things happening, and I feel like that's just people's interpretation of like scientific discoveries, because like what would be deemed as magical, per se, in the medieval ages would just be like common science for us now. You get where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Like they used to think it was fucking magic when you chewed on leaves from aspen trees, and you felt better, like, which is like where we got like aspirin from, and they were just like, tweaking.
Have those people come in, like, say you're in middle school or even elementary school or some shit like that, and they'd have some like person come in and do like some chemical like experiment type shit, and you're like, whoa, how did you do that? You know, it's like crazy shit like that. And it's really just chemistry.
Right. And I'm sure if you looked up like any of the magical miracles that occurred in many old like fairy tales and stuff, you could be like, oh, this is how they are rooted in science.
Speaking of another magical thing, so you know, like the old like 7 plagues of Egypt, like from like the Bible and stuff.
Oh yeah, I learned about that.
I was watching a documentary one time, and it was like every single one of those like explained through like a scientific, like, none of those plagues were actually like impossible, like through science wise. And whether you believe that or not, I thought it was just pretty cool, because like even if you believe it, you could just say, okay, that's how God did it. But how like science and religion aren't as incompatible as people think.
I can talk about that a little bit, actually, because I actually, we spent about 2 months learning about that in college. So the first plague was all the rivers turned to blood.
That was because
And-
algicide or the algae stuff, right?
Right, there was an algae bloom that appeared, and that it's red. That's all it was. And
Red
then,
algae, yeah, we have that today.
Then there was like a plague of frogs, and it was because of the algae, I believe it was,
The algae bloom.
that there was an increase in the population of frogs. And then there was the flies, which I don't.
So what I heard it was
It's not the right.
was
place.
like all the red algae, like it wasn't as hospitable for frogs to live in the water anymore. So frogs were dying from it.
There wasn't enough food. That's right.
Well, and like the red algae like kills stuff, and so it was killing the frogs. And so like all these frogs and fish, like tons of them, because like the Nile was like one of the hot spots for like wildlife at the time.
Hotspot.
And well, you know what I mean. It was just
No.
the best place to live in the middle of the desert was in that river. And so they were all dying, and so tons of like frogs and shit were dying. And so like flies, like all these bugs were coming in and eating off them. So it was like the swarms of locusts and stuff. And so they were eating all the grain and like stuff like that. And so it was killing the cows and stuff. And the most interesting one I thought was the last one, which was where like the firstborn of everyone, like of every house, died.
Oh yeah.
And so what they thought it was since there was all that like there was a famine going on at the time from all the other ones, they were dipping into their older like grain supplies. And what they thought was that since they were like the older ones, you know, that only get tapped into when there's a famine, that like the top part was starting to get a little moldy and stuff. And the firstborn of every house would always get the first helping of the food. And so like going off, like if the top's contaminated, it'd always be the firstborn, like from every house, getting the most of like all that contaminated food, and that's what was killing them supposedly. As far as the fireballs raining down from the sky, no fucking clue. Could have been a meteor shower. Their explanation for that was a little like bullshitty.
Yeah, so on that one, the source that I read was there's a volcano called Thera, pretty close by,
What about Krakatoa?
and that would have accredited for
Crack cocaine?
the darkness in the sky, and then the like the raining of ash and stuff. And yes,
Also-
oh, sorry, go ahead.
With the parting of like the Red Sea and stuff, they found the area like because the ocean like in the Red Sea is like was way different then than it was now, and so they think they found like a plausible spot where like they could have like crossed because it was a little more shallow, and so they thought it was like a tsunami, and they like because you know how before a wave like and like before tsunamis the water goes rushing back like out into the sea before it all comes crashing down from the wind. And so they actually tested it with like a bunch of giant fans, and they were actually able to get the water down from like they were able to blow back like up to like 5-7 feet of water to where you could walk across. So like that could be plot like if a tsunami or well not a tsunami but just like a giant wave happened to be coming, like they could have crossed, and if it was so massive they could have crossed, like it could have lasted for like an hour. And so, they could have crossed because of that. And then, God, like, bringing the sea upon Egypt would have just been, like, the wave finally coming and crashing down.
That's actually what my source also said. And the reason why they believed, due to the corridor of land, is that there were actually two separate stories that emerged because of this, like the Exodus story. And over time, they combined into one. So it kind of got mixed up. So that's where the water receding on both sides came from. It actually only would have receded on one side, and then the tsunami would have came in. To get a little scientific, the red little whatever's in the water, it's called a dinoflagellate, and it removes the oxygen, and that's what kills the animals.
Yeah, fuck this shit. What the hell you talking about? Hey,
all right. Anyways, next topic.
I want to do this little
Can we
side
like
bit
my
real
memes?
quick.
I
No,
sent 2 memes and nobody laughed at them.
I don't.
I sent
No,
the
I
Krakatoa
can't
meme.
scroll down. Hey, can I do a bit real quick? So there's a riddle that I'm gonna say, and you guys have to figure it out. Okay.
All right.
So here it is. There was a lady strapped to a chair in a cabin that was on fire in the woods. How did she die? So you have to figure out how she died by asking me questions, but I can only say yes or no.
Okay,
Did
wait.
she
So
burn to death?
Yes.
Well, there we go.
No, I'm just kidding.
all right. So there's a lady strapped to a chair in a cabin that's on fire.
Did she die of asphyxiation from like the smoke?
No.
What the fuck? This is gonna be some bullshit like, oh,
Was she
some
dead to
man
begin
came and
with?
stabbed her.
No.
Did she have a heart attack?
Nope.
Was it a young lady?
Sure. At this point,
There's an
yes.
old lady gonna go.
The lady's age does not matter.
Huh,
How
okay.
long was she strapped to that chair for? More than a week?
So, wait, what was your question?
Was she strapped to that chair for a very long period of time?
What's a long period of time?
Long enough to die from being strapped to a chair because
Oh,
you can't
no.
eat or drink.
No. All right, do you want me to say it again?
Yeah.
So there was a lady strapped to a chair in a cabin that was on fire in the woods. How did she die?
This is stupid.
Hmm.
I think she got dicked down too
Is
hard.
there supposed to be something clever in the riddle that's giving us a hint?
Yes.
Wait,
Or is it
repeat
literally just
it
supposed to
once
be
more.
irrelevant and we just
There
have
was
to-
a lady strapped to a chair in a cabin that was on fire in the woods. How did she die?
Is there any actual hint in the riddle?
Yeah,
or is
there
we just
is.
supposed to ask
Yeah.
questions?
I mean, you can
Oh,
ask
I
questions
looked
about
it
the
up.
cabin.
Yeah.
I also looked it up and I get it
Sure.
now.
You looked it up? What the fuck?
I'm not gonna look it up.
Oh, you sons of bitches.
That
as if we were gonna get that.
All right.
If you ask
I looked
questions.
it up, so someone tell me what happened.
9/11.
Oh my god.
What?
That's right, Brandon. No fun for you.
Come on,
what
yo,
was the clue?
pieces of shit.
9/11.
God, I
Lady
love these.
strapped to a chair in a cabin that was in the woods.
9/11 happened.
All right,
Why was it
Owen?
in the woods though?
So here's like a big question that like most people ask is what was the cabin made out of? Metal. Or like there's a was the cabin made out of
Why
wood?
is it in the woods?
The plane, plane cabin.
None of them crashed in the woods.
This is a great bit.
God
Brandon.
damn
Thank you.
No. You fucking
Thank
ruined it. You had to look it up. Yo,
Alright, I'm gonna be honest with you,
impatient
I'm just saying.
motherfuckers.
Jacob, that was me being stupid. I thought that a plane hit the cabin in the woods.
Oh my God, AJ.
I'm just saying, I think that's a poor riddle because none of the planes actually crashed in the woods. 2 of them crashed into the Twin Towers. One of them
9/11 was a bad call for me.
One of them crashed into the Pentagon, and one of them crashed into a field.
Man, I was expecting this to be like a 20-minute bit at least. And y'all motherfuckers talking about 9/11.
No, it's okay. Jacob redeemed it. It's okay.
God,
Jacob,
What?
the 9/11 part was me being stupid. The 9/11 part was false.
So wait, so it's not actually 9/11?
No, Jacob, I read like half the answer. I'm like, oh, that means a plane hit the cabin in the woods.
No. But even if like inside the plane, and the cabin's on fire because the plane crashed, none of the planes crashed in the woods.
Jacob, 9/11 was not part of the riddle at all. That
He was trying to hint at a plane. That's why he said 9/11.
No, but you guys don't realize that I literally thought that there was a big cabin in the woods and literally someone crashed their plane into it and subsequently burned the plane and the house.
All right. Moral of the story is we're all stupid.
God damn it.
All right, AJ. I'm gonna give you
if it was 9/11. That would be
another
a horrible riddle,
topic.
Brandon.
I have another riddle.
Is
Okay,
it dumb
well,
like
no
the
one-
first one, Brandon?
It's if you guys ever
I
heard
want
of
an actual
the
riddle. I don't
the
want to
green
like-
glass
yeah, I
door?
want an actual riddle that I don't have to Google.
You ever heard of the green glass door?
No.
No.
So you can bring some things in, and you can't bring in some other things.
Do immigrants
So
count?
what?
All right, never mind.
Just go on.
Fuck. Wait. I learned it over the weekend, man. I'm trying to. Okay, just talk about something else. I'll come back to it.
All right, AJ. You want another word?
Give him like a choice of 3 topics.
All right. We can do like verbs or adjective if you would prefer.
This is so fucking stupid. Just give me something.
All right. God, these are all horrible words.
EJ.
AJ, talk about cat. Oh no, talk about ducks. There you go.
Ducks. Okay, where do I start? So we all know that picture I found of a duck. I found that when you Google cute animals, or cute baby animals. It's also my Google background, and it was my Google like little circle thing that everyone saw, and so I realized I looked probably fucking stupid, so I turned it back to just the normal like default Gmail thing. But that duck is really adorable. Also, fun fact: the 2 pictures of that duck I have, they're inverted. Like one of them faces to the right, and the other one faces to the left. And one of them looks a little different when it swims. What else about ducks? I don't really know.
Hey AJ,
else about
can
ducks.
you give me?
Oh wait, no, PSA. It's like one of those Facebook things. Don't feed ducks bread. It doesn't have any nutritional value.
What the
You
fuck?
have to give them like peas or like vegetables or stuff.
AJ, can you give me the dummy's explanation of how photosynthesis works?
This was already a bit.
All right,
we
I
already
can
did-
try.
We already did this bit.
Yeah, but Andy, you made it stupid. You started
It's
going
on
off
YouTube.
something else.
We did what bit?
Yeah, it's because I was high off my ass.
Andy made up the process of photosynthesis. So, do you want me to actually do that?
Yes.
All right.
Go
So,
for
from my what I remember, we start with the sun, right? The sun lets off energy, and the plants with the chlorophyll in their cells, like the green shit, picks up the energy, and that powers.
Photosynthesis.
No, wait, hang on. What's the reaction? It's like 2 things on one side and the other. It's like it's
ATP
Carbon?
synthase.
Carbon and sunlight. You add those together, and you make oxygen and glucose. Is glucose the second part? Yeah, it's in the second part.
Wrong.
Shit,
That's not photosynthesis. That's
that's respiration, isn't it?
that's the Krebs cycle.
No, I thought that was
All
what.
AJ, all photosynthesis does is make ATP.
Hey, I figured it out, by the way. See
All
how
right,
I
let's
Okay,
figured
hear
it
this
out?
riddle.
All right. So there's a green glass door. You can bring some things through it, but not others. For example, you can bring grass through the green glass door, but not flowers. You can bring a happy person, but not a sad person. Or how about maybe some apples, but not bananas? And
And what are
basically,
you
you have
trying
to
to ask?
figure out a rule that makes it possible for you
Go through the green
to,
glass door.
yes, to bring something through the green glass door.
Is it everything has to be 5 letters or less?
No.
Okay.
Well,
I can give you more examples. Just let me know.
Yeah,
Brandon,
sure, go for it.
Give me the entire damn list.
All right. You can bring a pineapple through, but not an orange.
Hmm.
Or trying to think now.
Well, pineapples and apples.
You can bring a root beer through, but not a soda.
I feel like it has something to do with like the generic quality of something.
Well, he said you could bring a happy person through, not a sad person.
Yeah, well,
And you
sad
could bring
person
through
a dime a
grass
dozen
and not
nowadays.
flowers.
See, my
Like-
brain is too dumb now.
Too stupid.
I'm too dumb now.
Trying to think what else.
What the fuck did you
You
send
can bring some wood in, but not bark.
It's like natural shit. Like bananas aren't real; they're fake.
I mean,
Maybe.
Can we get a different kind of example?
Sure. You can bring in glass, but not a window. Or even, I think. You can bring in a hammer, but you can't bring in a nail.
yeah, you got me there.
Brandon,
Yeah.
could I bring in
This is gonna be a great podcast, by the way. It's
could I
just
bring in
so
a
many
cup,
moments of silence.
but no water?
Nope, you can't bring in either.
Fuck.
Can I bring in a person?
Person? No.
Can
You
I
said
bring
we could bring in a happy
people?
person, though.
Yeah, you can bring in a happy person. Like a happy person.
Could I bring in a hat?
No.
Bring. What kind of rating does this door have? Like, how thick is this door? What's it made out of?
Pretty thick ass door, AJ.
What's it made out of?
Just green glass door. Glass.
Glass.
Green
Glass.
glass door.
So if I were to take like a battering ram of sorts and run into this door, could I just make your whole riddle fucking worthless and just walk right in whenever I want?
You know what, AJ? You can bring a battering ram in.
But not what?
But not a club.
Clubs.
Like golf clubs?
Sure. Or even a regular club can't bring that.
I don't know.
in.
I think I'm ready to give up.
You want to hear it? You can bring some overalls. Not any jeans though.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, it's syllables. It's syllables.
Huh?
It's
You
syllables.
can bring in your feet, but
Hammer.
no toes.
Uh-oh.
Get wrecked, kid.
Apple. No, I don't know.
Yes, Brandon,
You
please
can,
explain
you can
it
bring
to
in
us.
an apple, but no fruit.
All right. Explain it to us, Brandon.
All right, so the rule is whenever you bring something in through the door, it has to have two of the same letters in the word. So grass, for example, S, two S's.
Oh.
But so you give people similar items, so you think it's a comparison of the two, but it's really just spelling. So you could say you can bring
Wait.
in grass, but not
Spelling is
fungus.
stupid.
Oh, okay. I see it.
Better than the first one.
Like, spelling is fun. It's not. Fuck spelling. Fuck the riddle.
I agree. Fuck for reading. I don't like it.
Yeah, AJ hates the English language.
Well, what's really difficult is trying to give like examples for people. Like I had to look up a couple. Like if you have a group doing it, it's much easier if like a couple people know what the scheme is, so you can just like list off things. But yeah, so basically you have to have two of the same letter next to each other. Like a good one is you can bring in the moon, but not the sun. So, and it's better if you give people like either opposites or things that are similar, so it stumps
And
them
I
on
get
that.
the riddle: green glass door.
Right. Green, 2 E's, glass, 2 S's.
Yeah.
No, I don't get it. Can you explain it to me?
Shut the fuck up.
Fuck up, bitch.
All right, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Anytime.
Oh wow, I feel so.
How's your
anyways.
guys' weekends? How's that go?
Do we really
I was
want
gone.
to talk about another?
Yeah, let's talk about it. This,
I
I
saw
had
some
fun
I saw some
time.
pictures over Snapchat and it looked like you guys had a good time.
All
I
right,
had
so
fun time.
we go to Jacob's house, and
Just send me a couple highlights. Just don't.
the premise is I had not intended to drink. I asked Alex to go, so the only way I got Alex to go was to say I will drive him home, and we will only get stoned.
Oh, you guys went? Like Alex went there too?
Yeah. And so that was the whole.
Wait, who all did you have there? Like, who all
There's
showed
quite a
up?
few people. It doesn't really matter. There's a bunch of people.
Nate Kaiser showed up.
Nate was there. Cool. Like
Nate
how
was
many
there.
people?
I don't know, probably like 8 or 9.
Oh.
Well,
Alright,
probably more
nice.
like 8. At like the max, a couple people came and went.
Gotcha.
Like
I wonder when
Andy,
Zach's
Alex,
is
and
gonna randomly chime in. I wonder if he's just gonna
Nate
join.
Mm.
came and went.
Gotcha.
So I don't remember a ton from the night. I remember Alex got super baked and then sat in a chair for like 2 hours straight, not saying anything. I remember screaming at him like, "Say something, you fool!" And he would just look at me with a blank, emotionless stare.
Yeah, so he got like they start off the night like we're playing like a cheerful little game of Pong, and he's just over in the corner ripping the dab pen. I'm like, Alex,
Oh,
yo,
shit.
you might want to not start off like straight up ripping dabs right off the bat, just because the night is still young,
Right.
and you want to be able to like smoke throughout the night.
Dude,
The
dab
house.
pens are sometimes crazy. Like, I remember at college, my first time ripping, it was either my first or second time. Like, I took the longest hit ever, and I was just beyond fried. Like, maybe 5 seconds later, and I was coughing like a fiend. My eyes were watering.
Oh my gosh, so I pack up a bong, and Ryan showed up too, and so me, Andy, and Ryan are packing up a bowl, and right before like Andy went first, and Andy just flamed it hard. I flamed it hard on Andy. I whipped out a blowtorch on him,
Oh, fuck.
and he
Big
sucks
ol'
it.
hit.
And then the sound that came out of his mouth when he was done was just
Oh fuck.
it was just. And then he just turns around and walks off my porch,
Just
and I'm like,
see ya.
goodbye. And so then I go, and I take a couple scoops. I take a couple scoops of kefir,
Scooperoonies.
and I put it on top. And then I just flambe the hell out of that thing.
Flambe?
I flambéed all the greens,
What the
man.
fuck? I didn't even know that was a word.
And towards the end, I somehow like got a little bit in my stomach, like I swallowed it while I was still inhaling somehow.
Oh my god, I forgot.
Oh.
And so I'm like, I'm donezo. I just start instantly like.
No, okay,
I
so
go
Jacob
freeze.
came up to me at one point,
Just
and he looks at me like, "You should just. How much would I have to give you to drink the rest of this bong water?"
Oh,
And I looked at him, and I'm like, "I'll take a sip if you do."
Oh.
And so we did. And then, to
The
me, it
weirdest
tasted
part.
like scrambled eggs. That's what it tasted like.
What the fuck?
For all
But
of the
that's not bad though. Like I feel like it could be definitely worse.
no, it was pretty clean bong water,
Yeah,
and it had
that's-
ice cubes in it because oh my gosh, dude, nothing rips smoother than ice cubes in a bong.
Ooh.
All right, so for the much requested highlights, I'm sure anyone listening to this podcast probably would have seen my story. It started getting crazy when AJ was like, I don't know how much he had drank already,
A lot.
but we finished the first thing, Hawaiian Punch, and he just like slams the bottle down and goes, I need more.
More.
Man,
I
I
need
got my
more.
last game beer pong. I wanted to win, so I had to play again.
And then I posted
Yeah.
some snap to my story, and Zach runs out and he's like, "You recording the podcast?" And he jumps over the table and starts grabbing at my phone.
AJ was mad that we lost a game of Pong when he was the one man at the table. I was off talking
You
to
walked
somebody when
away
it wasn't
so
our
many
turn.
times, Jacob. Don't act like it's all my fucking
Yeah,
fault.
AJ,
You
I was
banged the game.
ripping-
They
I
just
was
bounced
ripping
2
it.
in or what?
AJ let Zach bounce 2 in.
Oh, AJ, that's some shitty defense, man. I don't care if Jacob's away. If there's one man at the table, you got that
Don't
shit on
fucking tell me
lockdown.
don't fucking tell me I just are what.
Well, after the first bounce, I told you, AJ, don't let that happen again.
Yeah. As soon as that shit hits the table, you go, what? JJ, what? Anyway.
I don't care. Whatever. I
And
still won.
meanwhile,
I
Zach
won
was
that
like,
game.
Zach wasn't looking, and I bounce it, and I rim, like hard rim, like I hard rim it like 3 fucking times. I was so mad. I'm like, AJ, you're letting Zach bounce it, and I'm even more mad because I'm getting
Can't
like
make
these
it in.
spicy bounces that are like toilet bowling hard, and then just yeet themselves out at the last second. Like, nope.
Oh, can we talk about the time that Jason nailed the front right cup, and then I nail it too, but my ball bounces out of the cup?
Yeah. That was
Oh, is the
fucking
ball still
wild.
in?
Yeah.
That's why. Dude, if it's ever in, you have to say to the other people to pull it.
But like
that's a fat
they
move.
were filling the cups maybe to like the first line, like the 1 ounce line.
Oh, this was some
and
pretty
so
hard juice.
people were knocking cups over
Oh yeah,
every other throw.
Pour more in.
we didn't have any beer that night, so we were using some pretty strong mixies, which was probably the first mistake. We probably should have just done water.
I
No,
and
you,
drink.
that's a problem with whenever you guys do that type of shit with games, like whether it's beer pong or whether it's boom cup or something like that. The fucking shit you pour in there, the mixie is always way too damn strong, and it's like a shot
enjoy
each,
it.
even more sometimes.
Yeah, man. I'm just
Jesus,
saying.
it
Last
kills
time
you.
we were at. Well, that's the point. Last time we were at.
But then you can't do
like,
any games
my-
after. You do one game and you're fucking donezo.
Well, last time
We
we
had a
were
lot
at
of
my
fun after
house,
that, Brandon. I know
Zach
what you're
mixed the
talking about.
drinks, and no one got trashed.
That's
At
because we
all.
only did like one game. You had to do more games.
Well,
whatever.
on another note, I told Zach if he wanted to be on the podcast, he would have to fill a cup up all the way to the top and drink it. And he downed that sucker in like 3
Dude,
seconds.
he spilled so much. I was cringing because the table looked pretty clean when I was putting it away the next morning, and so I just folded it up and put it away. And then I saw all that stuff Zach spilled on it. I'm like, oh no,
He
that
spilled a
table's
lot.
gonna be, that table's gonna be so sticky.
So at one point in the night, people started making food, and they were
Oh,
making
no.
these pizzas in this little oven. And
It was a
at one,
toaster oven,
It
so
was
we
a Jack's,
cut
it was a
frozen
Jack's
pizzas in
pizza.
half.
We cut it in half.
Dude, Jack Pizza is the best.
No, it's so good.
so immediately AJ runs out and goes, Andy, you need to record this. So I start recording.
No, this is the second half of pizza. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, shit went down. Get your phone out.
Yeah, so I run over and I'm like, oh my god, what's going on? I hear like a bunch of commotion, and this person, I don't remember who it was, walks out with the whole entire toaster oven in their hand. I think it was Jason, and he
Jason.
walks over and puts it on the table, and he's like, yeah, I took this out because I don't want to smoke out your entire house. They had dropped the pizza in the back of the toaster,
So,
and
it's
so
hitting
it
the
was
coils.
burning.
Oh no!
And so Zach looks at it and goes, my pizza!
No,
He
He
makes
gets
a whole
on his
big deal out of it for like a minute straight.
Yeah. No, this is the problem though. The first half of pizza, I had a piece. I think Jason had a piece.
I had a
think
piece.
maybe Jacob had a piece. Yeah, so that was half a pizza gone. Exactly. You guys ate all my fucking pizza, you bastards. So when he gets his whole half of pizza, it fucking falls in the back of the oven. He
Ew.
gets none.
And so from my perspective, I'm just chilling out on the porch, like just took a rip off the bong, and then all these guys coming out screaming, and Jason's just got the toaster oven in his fucking hands, and I'm like, Jason, what the fuck? He's like, dude, I didn't want to set off the fire alarm or like smoke out your house, and he explains to me like the pizza fell off the back rack, and the rack, I will tell you, covers like there's like maybe like a centimeter on the back for that pizza to fall through.
Well, it was
They
when they were pulling the
left
pizza
that.
off the rack. Like they were pulling the rack
It wasn't
out.
even done. Wasn't done at all.
Oh.
I ate that half pizza. It was good.
But in order to remedy their mistake, AJ thought it'd be a funny little bit to run inside and make Zach some new
Because
pizza.
I already made myself 2 slices of toast.
And AJ had a piece of toast and was standing
piece of
like, kind of
fine bread.
mocking Zach
I was
that his
not
pizza
generally
was-
trying to offer.
that his pizza was bad. and while he had a piece of toast in his hand. So Zach, like with the might of Zeus, smacks AJ's piece of toast out of his hands, and then AJ got all mad and was like trying to beef on Zach because he was like had a little had a little.
That was the second time.
He had a little liquid courage in him.
No,
And so he was trying to beef up on Zach, and Zach was like, and Zach is like twice his size, and Zach is just like freaking shredded, and AJ's like.
Jacob, I didn't try and fight him until the second time.
Oh,
The second time, I made pizza in the toaster. I made toast. I put cheese and salami on one of them, and then I put ketchup under the cheese in the other one. And I offered Zach some of it. He took it, and he threw it on the floor.
So at another point of the night, Zach started counting his money. He's like, "Oh my god, how much money do I have in my wallet?" And he had $255 in cash alone. And so he whips it all out, smacks it on the table, and starts counting it. Most of it's in 20s. It's like in 20s, and I think he had like 15 ones. And so he starts counting it, and he gets to like 240, and he just stops. He's like, I don't know, how many ones is this? And he starts counting them, and he keeps like pausing, and then he forgets immediately. And this happened for maybe 10 minutes straight of him forgetting somewhere when he was counting. So eventually I noticed he was getting kind of close to actually getting the correct number. And so I stopped him like, "Hey, Zach, look at that lawnmower." And he's like, "What?" I'm like, "Zach, look at the lawnmower." He goes, "Oh, that's cool." And I'm like, "Zach, how much money do you have?"
Were you there when we got Taco Bell?
No. Actually, when did you get Taco Bell?
Jason
Jason took me and Zach to get Taco Bell.
Did you guys stay the night?
Jason went home. Me and Zach did.
I was gonna say because I woke up at like 9 the next morning, and you guys were. It was like a fucking ghost town.
No, I was awake I left at like 9:30. But yeah, no.
Because I got up and walked around at like a little after 9. That I thought it might have been like 10 or something.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
And I was like, because I was like starting to clean up. It wasn't too messy of a night, so I was just starting to like clean up a little bit because my parents were getting home at noon that day. And it was a ghost town. I didn't see anybody. It was fun. It was a rather chill night. No one. Zach was having a good time. I was just like stoned.
I had a good time.
Oh my god, dude! Jordan was tweaking.
Dude,
oh my god, you killed your girlfriend.
Half an hour. She disappeared.
Dude, Zach and AJ ran a fucking train on her in Boom Cup for like the entire.
I want you to rephrase that right now. Say psych right now.
Psych. They ran a vortex on her in Boom Cup.
Yeah, I was like, Jacob, I don't remember that part.
And they were just destroying this.
I even gave her a couple
poor little 100. Like, this Zach was the vicious one doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was like, I come inside after like half an hour of not seeing her, and she's just curled up in my front room, like in a ball. And she's like, "Jacob, I want to go to bed."
Well, she was curled up in the fetal position outside for like 30 minutes before she went in.
What the fuck?
Andy, we forgot to talk about.
Oh, yes. Okay, so at one point, Jacob leads a adventure, like the same adventure that I threw up on last time. If you listen to my podcast on Snap, and we go up the mountain, come back down, blah blah blah, and then AJ picks up the stick, and like starts swinging it at me like a sword, and then he breaks it in half, and now he's got 2. And so
no, you got to back up.
Okay.
We were pretending to be Avatar.
Oh yeah.
And this has, this is even more context. I think Zach was getting upset. You guys kept smoking so much weed. So I was like, guys, I got this. I'm a fucking airbender. So I started blowing and like waving my hand like, smoke, be gone. It didn't work, but yeah. So then, what was that? 20 minutes later, we went on our little adventure.
Sure.
I was like, all right, I'm an airbender and a waterbender and an earthbender. I'm a fucking avatar. You know what I mean? But I had a stick. Like, I'm pretty sure Aang had this stick. And this was a pretty big stick. I was able to twirl it between my 2 hands. It was fucking massive. And me and Andy had like an avatar fight in the yard.
I had my dab pen, so I was an air and fire pen. Yeah, do you not remember blowing clouds of smoke at you?
No.
Oh my god.
I love it. Are they supposed to do another, like, okay, this is like not the right avatar, it's like the blue people avatar, like the weird ass tigers. Are they supposed to do number 2 for that?
James Cameron's avatar's stupid.
Yeah,
I don't think they will because they made so much money on the first one that they
That's
won't
true.
have to worry about anything else for the
Didn't
rest of their
Endgame
lives.
just beat it? Like just
Mhm.
recently?
I didn't hear about it, but
Yeah,
I'm
they
sure
did.
it did.
One on the closing note, just a little funny bit that we didn't talk about before. So earlier that day, like I was getting ready for the party, and like I was getting a garbage can, and so I look out in a garbage can in my yard. Like I'm like, this one looks pretty empty. Like it's only got a few beer cans in it. Like we'll use this one. And I look at the bottom of it. I see some furry, and I'm looking down. I'm like, is that a fucking possum? There's a possum in that garbage can. And so I give it a little kick, like to see if it's alive. And like it had its eyes closed, and it looked like it was sleeping because it was the middle of the day. And as soon as I give the garbage can a little tiny like kick, it just like opens its eyes in its mouth and goes like. I was like,
Dude, as soon as I saw that snap on Snapchat, I'm like, oh, you need to hotbox it ASAP. But I think it was too late by then.
No, dude, that garbage can reeked.
You couldn't just like inhale and just blow it in there and put the top back on. Imagine you get that dude stoned. He just comes walking out like, fuck, dude. Let's put a bag of chips next to him and he starts munching.
So that was it for tonight's Timeout podcast. We hope you all enjoyed our monotonous ranting.
Make sure
One
to
other note.
like and subscribe.
I want the viewers, if anyone's watched this long, to figure out the exact moment and like make a timestamp of where I got high, because I am tweaking off my ass right now.
You know, it's funny. We call this the Timeout podcast, but 45 minutes is a long ass timeout.
You know, we just
So-
need a timeout from a
Well,
lot
I'm gonna
of
go
things
poop.
in
Let's
life.
end this bitch. I gotta poop.
Yep. Thank you so much for tuning in. Peace out.
James got to poop. Bye.